Hi everyone, welcome to day 6 of Happioneer's Sales Mastery Systems. I'm Yogesh Chabre, as you might already be knowing, and today we are going to have a lot of fun. But before we start, I want to share something. A lot of you have been emailing me, a lot of you have been messaging me and telling me you have started seeing good results, you have been implementing these, or a lot of you have already started implementing, imbibing yourself with certain beliefs, have written down your goals, have started working on the strategies of building rapport, understanding who your client is, so implementing the WMD model, which is your potential client needs to have a deep want for your product or service. They should have money, they should be decision makers. So a lot of you have been sharing positive feedback. I'm very happy to know a lot of you have started getting results in terms of closing deals, starting off, which is very, very good, which is what I love hearing all the time. And I want this to happen with all of you. So I want you to implement whatever we are sharing. As I keep telling you, I keep stressing this over and over and over again. The more you implement, the more results you get. So keep trying, keep implementing. Today, I want to continue sharing because from what I've understood, I've been speaking to a lot of you. A lot of you have been mailing me, messaging me, interacting with me. A lot of you have been sharing you want to increase the number of prospects you get. So you want more. I'll be sharing a couple of powerful strategies today which form an integral part of the Happioneer Sales Mastery System. And one part of this system is how can you really collaborate with people who are in allied industries. So what do I mean by collaborate? For example, I'll share a few examples with you. For example, let us say, and we have done this with a lot of companies, a lot of our clients have done this, based on our strategies. So let us say, for example, you sell rings, diamond rings. Let's say you're a jeweler, you sell diamond rings, for example. So this is my wedding ring, my engagement ring actually. My wife Gauri, she gave it to me. So I wear it. So let us say this is a product you're selling, okay? I'm giving this as an example. This could be your product or your service. So assuming this is your product or service, you can use your own innovation, your own creativity, but assuming you're selling diamond rings. So this is what you want to sell. And one strategy you could really use is ask yourself, I believe questions have a lot of power. Ask yourself, who would be buying these rings? And if you ask yourself enough, you'll figure out people who are getting married. So for example, my wife bought this and she put it in my hand. I also bought her a ring. So people who are getting married will be needing these rings. And if you find out, where do people who get married go? So where do they go? If you ask yourself this question, you'll find out they'll be going to, wedding planners, event companies, hotels. And if you can have an alliance, a mutual alliance with somebody who is, let us say, into wedding business or who plans weddings, or you can have an alliance with a hotel and you can tell them to recommend your product or service to their existing clients. So how can they recommend? You can come up with a code. One of the jewelers actually did this. So what they did, I'll share it with you. They went to major event companies and they said, this is a specific code. We want you to share it with all your customers. We want you to put it on your social media, and whoever uses this code gets a discount and you get a commission. That's that simple. So basically, who's winning? The customers of that person are winning. So that event company's customers are winning because he says, use this code, you'll get a discount with this jeweler. Not everybody will use, but you now suddenly get access to that person. You get access to their database, you get access to all the people they know. And second is you are giving them an incentive. It's the best way to increase ROI, I believe, that's return on investment, is to give incentives to people. Return on incentives, very powerful. So you could do this with any company or product. So for example, let us say you are, let's say you're an interior designer, for example. Let's say you do interior designing work, okay? If you're an interior designer, who would be needing your services? Ask yourself that. So once you understand, that's why it's very important to understand who is your perfect client. So let us say we've done this, we have shared this strategy with a lot of interior designers and they've got back and they said, we have got great success with this strategy, Yogesh. What is this? Let's say you are an interior designer. Who is your client? Most probably people who purchase a new apartment. People who take a place on rent might not be spending a lot on interior designing, but people who purchase a new apartment, a new house. Now, if you can tie up with people in that sector. Who can you tie up with? So who are people in an allied industry? Real estate consultants, because real estate consultants show houses. So if you tie up with some of the best real estate consultants and you tell them, whoever is going to buy an apartment through you, they get a free consultation from us. We'll come, give them ideas, give them suggestions. So now it's a win-win. Why is it a win-win? Because that consultant can tell the client, this is a beautiful house. I know an excellent interior designer, very, very nice. This is who he or she is. If you purchase this apartment, I can fix up, a free consultation. Even before you purchase an apartment, let me get them on board, and then you as an interior designer can go show them designs on iPad, give them the vision. Now this service will help the real estate consultant sell the house. And of course, you can also have a commission share, you can have a revenue share, you can give them an incentive. And this works for every industry. So you need to figure out who are people who you can ally with. So no matter what you're doing, let's say you're providing consulting services, who are people in allied industries you can target. So for example, let us say you're into recruitment, you provide HR consulting services, you're into, in fact, we do this with a lot of people. Now you can provide solutions. So you can, if you're providing manpower to somebody, you can tell them, I know somebody great. They can provide training solutions for you. They can provide advanced strategies for you. So you can ally with people in your industry who are not direct competitors. So you can support each other. And I believe there's a lot of power in friendships. And if you have only 5 or 6 or 7 good friends where you share your ideas to, even if you're an interior designer, if you share those references with that real estate agent with whom you have a connect, with that real estate consultant with whom you have a connect, you can do a lot of business. So people who want to really scale up and who are scaling up are using this. This is a very powerful strategy. I want you to take around a minute right now and write down who are people in allied industries with whom you can have a tie-up, with whom you can have an alliance, with which your business can immediately scale up. And what's the advantage of this? If you are smart about it, you can just have one good contact, and suddenly you get access to 5,000 of their customer base or database, or 10,000 of their customer base or database. If you're good at it, if they trust you, if that person knows that you have their best interest in mind, that's why it's so important to be trustworthy, and never fake it. I tell people, I was having this conversation right now with my wife, and we were discussing, and I was telling, the more genuine and honest you are, the better it is. So for example, A.R. Rahman has a certain persona type, and Ranveer Singh has a certain persona type. If A.R. Rahman, who is soft-spoken, slightly an introvert, tries to imitate Ranveer Singh, he won't be successful because he's faking it. So you should never fake emotions. Enthusiasm should be there, but it shouldn't be artificial. So if you're somebody who's soft-spoken, you should continue being soft-spoken. Don't try to scream and speak just because somebody else is doing. So be as genuine as possible. So when you're going to strike alliances, it's very important that you're honest, because if people trust you, your work is done. A lot of times, people who are over smart, who are shrewd, and you can't trust them, they don't succeed in business because people can't trust. It's very important. So when you're having an alliance with somebody, like when we have alliances, we have beautiful alliances with event companies, with HR consulting, with all sorts of people. We love working together with media houses. We have alliances. My publisher, CNBC, we work with all sorts of people. Our alliances are based on trust. And they know when we commit something to them, they're getting it. So we tell them we are going to give you XYZ percentage. They know they are going to get it. And that's the beauty of it. And why we do it? Because I speak from my heart, our team speaks from the heart, and that's the thing. So be very honest and share, The biggest mistake people do, I know sometimes people do it, they're unethical, and that's the worst way to sell. So if you're having an alliance with somebody, let's say you have tied up with an alliance with somebody and you're telling them, if you sell my product or service, I will give you 10%, 15%, 20%, 5%, depending on your sector, and they get you the client, and you don't give them that money, your business is over. Has it ever happened with you that somebody is supposed to pay you money for some work or service you have done and they have not paid you? Has it ever happened with you? They might do it once, but never second time. And not only that, wouldn't you go and tell people, be careful of this XYZ person. I did business for them. I gave them a service. I gave them a product. They did not pay you. Has it happened? And that's the thing. That's the mistake a lot of people make. And you can't grow long term. If you want to grow long term, which I'm sure you do. That's why you're investing in yourself. That's why you're investing your valuable time, your resources into this program. It's very important to have alliances and keep those alliances long term with whoever we work. As a policy, we've been working with them for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, because that's the importance of long-term relationships. So I want you to write down right now, 1 minute, who are people with whom you can have alliances, and you can suddenly scale up your business 50 times, 100 times, because you're having alliances. And think freely. Don't let anything restrict your thinking. The bigger and freer you think, you can have alliances with anybody. If you can show them what's their interest. Remember I shared you the example of SpiceJet, how we had an alliance with them. We sold books on the plane because we targeted their audience base. You can have alliances with anybody in the world. That's my belief. And if you believe it, that's how we have an alliance with CNBC. So many different people. You can have an alliance with anybody. You could be sitting, in your home, in your bedroom, anywhere. You might not be a multi-million-dollar company. It doesn't matter. If you are willing to do what it takes, if your product or service is willing to solve a certain challenge people have, you can have an alliance. So I want you to figure out who can you have an alliance with. You can also have alliances with people in different markets. This works a lot. For example, you are dealing in Mumbai and somebody needs a lawyer in, say, Delhi. A lot of lawyers do this. So, they need a lawyer in the Supreme Court. They have an alliance with a lawyer in the Supreme Court. They have a relationship. Or if you are a CA in Bangalore and somebody needs a CA for certain help, an accountant in Delhi or Mumbai, people have alliances. So they can be in your sector too, but different markets or different strategies. So you can start collaborating with different people. And if you start collaborating, you move. So I want you to write it down right now. Who are people you can have alliances with and really scale up, increase your prospects? You can share your valuable clients. You can expose them to your clients. You can have some collaborations. You can have some tie-ups with them. So I want you to write it down. Great. I'm sure you've written those things down. Now, as soon as this session is over, I want you to do work. So I want you to write them an email, give them a call, drop them a message, anything but establish contact. The fun of it is do it now. I always tell people, if you want to do something, do it now because it's the best time. And when you get in the role of it, when you call 1, 2, 3, in the beginning, it's likely you're hesitant. But when you get in the role of it, it's okay. You start. And many times people might say no to you. It's okay. There are lots of people out there. There are people who might say no to you. It's okay. Move on to the next one. So strike, and you just need 1 or 2 good alliances for the next ones to follow. I'll share an example with you. The importance also to being persistent. I'll share an example with you. Remember I told you about Kisna? So, Hare Krishna Group, we had done some work with them, big diamond company. So when they were launching this brand called Kisna, they had a policy, they did not want to run behind clients for money. So what they wanted to do is they didn't want to run behind clients. Many times what happens is you got to run behind clients. They're not paying you money on time. So, many times you got to run behind clients. They're not paying on time. So, and especially in the jewelry business till then, most people were giving on credit. So these guys, they said, we don't want to work on credit. What we want to do is we want people to pay us, upfront. We don't want to give people on credit, because that's not something we do, and we'll pass them the benefit of the interest, so we'll give them a better deal. And for 6 months they were looking for distributors to distribute their jewelry. They manufacture these jewelry pieces, so they were looking for jewelers. For 6 months they didn't get a single client, and they kept trying because everybody said, give it to us on credit, give it to us on credit, give it to us on credit. They said no. After 6 months, so 6 months of work, 6 months of not making money, lot of effort, lot of hard work, they got 1 client. And as soon as they got 1 client, they knew this system works. And today they have over 3,000 jewelers with them. So in anything, the first client, I always tell people, the first client is usually the toughest to get. The first alliance is usually the toughest to get. Anything, even if you're doing the system, anything. But once you get the first client, once you get the first alliance, you just need to replicate it. It becomes a recipe. And that first client, if you're good, if your product is good, if your service is good, if your solution is good, which I want it to be not just good, excellent, that person will now recommend a lot of people. That's how you grow. It's long term. Business, sales, life, you always have to think long term. Never think short term. In any industry, people who have had short-term thinking, who are saying, okay, I want to make a quick buck, finished. And today, unethical people get finished faster. These are things you need to try. Coming to the second point, so these are all strategies you can use to really increase the number of prospects, the number of people you interact with, your reach, your marketing, your branding. Second thing, my second law, which if you recall I shared with you, which is very, very powerful, get people to love you even before they meet you. Get people to love you even before they meet you. What does it mean? How can you get people to love you even before they meet you? What do I really mean by this? What I mean is, today we are living in the world of the internet. Any product, before you purchase any product, before you make any decision, you are influenced by the internet. Earlier it was TV and newspaper, society, but today that has become 100 times more, 1,000 times more by use of the internet. Any product, any service you want to buy, I guarantee you, at least 90% of the time you check it online. You check the reviews. You want to buy a phone? Check the reviews. You want to buy a car? You check the reviews. You read things. Now, if you are doing this, don't you think your customers are also doing the same thing for you? If you're selling a product, if you are selling a service, don't you think your customers would also be doing the same thing? Yes, of course. Even if you're an employee, I keep telling this to people, even if you're working in a company, if you're going for a job, if somebody is going to meet you, most people Google the person. Most people, even before today, meeting somebody, most likely, even if you're meeting somebody, it's likely, have you ever Googled somebody? Definitely you have Googled a person. So it's very important, you control what is put out there. You control how people perceive you. Because if you don't control how people perceive you, they will start controlling it. So if you look at the best celebrities in the world, you can learn a lot from celebrities. They always define how society or media perceives them. So you look at any celebrity, they will project a certain image into media or into the mass media or on the internet, so via Instagram or various tools, because they want to define how society perceives them. They want to define how the public perceives them, because if they don't do it, people will start having their own assumptions and perceptions, and people will define. So what I want you to do is understand how you can, what is the system you can do that even before somebody meets you, they start loving you. What is it, something that I want you to challenge your mind. I want you to write a few things you could do that people could love you even before they meet you. So just 1 minute, I want you to write down in that paper, in the note where you have been looking at it, making notes. I want you to write down what are a few things you could do that people start loving you even before they meet you. And you could do a cheat code. I'll give you a cheat code. You could look at what companies have done with you. So what did Apple do with you, or what did Samsung or OnePlus or whichever phone you're using or whatever you're using, what did they do to get your attention? What happened that you started loving those products or services whose you have used? So 1 minute, I want you to write down how can you get people to love you even before they meet you. I want you to write it down right now. 1 minute. Okay, we are done with 30 seconds. A few more seconds, write it down, and then I'll continue. Okay, I'm sure you would have written a couple of ideas. Some of the things I've already shared earlier. So for example, it's very important that you are present on social media platforms like LinkedIn. Especially for business, it's very important to be present on LinkedIn. And it's better if you're on other platforms, so you have a blog, so you have video, you have Instagram, you have all those tools, because those are ways with which you can connect with people. I keep telling this to people, but if not anything, at least start with LinkedIn. Have a LinkedIn profile, have a LinkedIn ID, get people to put testimonials, because when people put testimonials and somebody puts in your name in Google search or wherever, your testimonials pop up. So one of the most powerful ways is social proof. I keep telling about social proof. What is social proof? So scientists have done a study. If 100 people tell, they did a study, this is very interesting. So they did a study and they got people to, if 1,000 people tell, so what color is this pen? Let's say I'm asking you, what color is this pen? What color is it? It's blue, right? But try this out, if 1,000 people start telling you that this pen is not blue, it's black, after some time you start believing it's black. Has it happened with you? That's called social proof. When people around society start doing a certain thing, it becomes common. If you heard sales secrets, remember the story of torn jeans, how people started wearing torn jeans. Why did they start wearing torn jeans? Because everybody was wearing torn jeans. And why did they start giving more money? Because they thought it's okay. Social proof is very powerful. So how do you use social proof in your favor? It can be negative, it can be positive. So when a group of people, one of our clients did this, where we were speaking about social proof, they came up to us and they said, we tried this out. So it was a new restaurant opening. And what they did was, they called more people, and they got a couple of these people, some of these people were their friends too, they got them to wait in a line outside the restaurant. Opening day, they called a couple of people from the press to take photos, to put it on Instagram, to put it everywhere. And there was a line of around 15 people outside the restaurant waiting, well-dressed people, good-looking people, just waiting, they just got these people, good-looking guys and girls waiting, cool-looking guys and girls waiting, 15 of them waiting in a line patiently, maybe on their phones but waiting. And they got people to take this, and they just put on social media, we are so happy that we have so much demand, we are booked, we are overbooked for the next 6 months. They just put this out, and that created a viral effect, because now everybody else thought there's a line outside this restaurant. So they thought this restaurant is in demand. So even before people could taste the food, even before they could go inside the restaurant, they see this line and they think, wow, this restaurant is doing really well, I should go here. Think about your own experience. Some of you might say, this is manipulative, or this is wrong, or this doesn't work on me. But think about it. If you're going to shop in a market, in a bazaar, and there are many shops, and one shop has a lot of crowd, anything they're selling, they might be selling stationery, pen, or anything, clothes, anything. One shop has a lot of crowd, a restaurant, for example, has a lot of crowd, and the other is empty. People will avoid going to the place which is empty, because now the mind starts thinking, especially if it's for food. They'll think, okay, why is this restaurant empty? There must be some problem. People start making assumptions. Or why is this shop empty? Why is this shop having a crowd? And that's why in every market you will see 1 or 2 shops doing very well, because they understand this. This works even online. It works offline. It's the same psychology. If people think your product or service is good and they start speaking about it online, they give testimonials. So you see a lot of followers, you see a lot of testimonials, you see a lot of comments, positive ones, automatically that product or service becomes popular. So if you put my name in, you see lots of good things. Automatically I become popular, and people want things that are popular. It's social proof. If you can get people to love you even before they meet you by using this strategy, beautiful. So testimonials, video testimonials. So they're your best clients, you get them, you request them, shoot some videos, put those videos out. Videos work much better than text. So if you have a text testimonial as compared to a video where the person is putting in emotions, beautiful. So use all these things. So if you have great clients, you say, sir, can I just take a video? Ma'am, can I take a video? I would really love to share it. And 9 out of 10 times people would be happy to, if in the moment, just say 30 seconds, what do you think of a service? They'll say, and they'll tell you, we love your service, we love your product. And on that video, you can share it with other people. Even before you're going to meet a client, if you send them, oh, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting you. This is what some of our best clients said about us. And particularly if they're in the same industry. So let us say if you're selling consulting, let's say you're selling digital marketing consulting, any sort of consulting, let's say you want to sell it to a large IT company. And you say, hi, I'm looking forward to our meeting tomorrow. But before that, I just wanted to see what some of our other IT clients say. And you share testimonials from some other IT clients, probably competitors, and where they say, we love this product. We love this guy's consulting solution. It helped us save money. It helped us grow, whatever directly. This person's mind is already directed towards you. So when you're meeting the person, the sale becomes easier. Or before meeting, as I told you about information products, I told you about books, I told you about videos, I told you about things you could do. You could make, case studies, anything. Before meeting the person, if you send it to them, a course, an audio program, a course like this, anything. So before meeting somebody, if you say, oh, I have a 60-minute course, why don't you check it out? Even if they don't listen to the course, you get some authority over just going in blank. So if people know about you before you meet them, the process of closing the deal becomes easy. And today, as I shared like with the restaurant, it happens with everybody, with club memberships. We have clients who sell club memberships. This is a strategy they use. So they might get in a few people, who are influential in society, popular, get them on board and then market it. We have the CEO. So if it's a business club, they're selling business club membership, we have the top 10 CEOs as our members. Now, when people come to know about that, that's also social proof. So others who want to do business with them, get to know with them, connect with them, come on board. We do that. So for example, in my introduction, when somebody is introducing me, they might say all those good things. It's not because we want to boast. It's not that, they say, okay, Yogesh Chabria, Dalai Lama, Ranveer Singh, IIT, European Parliament, presidents, billionaires. The reason they use all these words associated with my name, because this is social proof. It's scientific. I am not somebody who likes to boast. I don't like to boast at all. But this works. When people hear these things, immediately trust. When they tell the names of our clients, SBI, Accenture, Tata Motors, ICICI, Mercedes-Benz, all the names, of the companies, what does it do? It builds trust, and you should use the same strategies. Why do we do it? Do I want to boast? No, I don't want to boast. It's because these things build trust. So you need to figure out, how can you build trust for your product or service? It could be as simple as having a brochure. A brochure has a lot of power. What are things that need to go in your brochure? Even if you're an individual person, even if you're writing your resume has to be like a brochure. What are certain things? What can you do? As featured on, if you've written for some magazine, as featured on, very powerful. Clients and testimonials. All these things. So when people, people don't spend a lot of time, a few seconds, when people see those testimonials, when they read those testimonials in the brochure, automatically in their head, they start saying, okay, yeah, I like this guy. I like this person, even before they meet you. And if you have video, if you're somebody who can come on video before meeting somebody, if there's a small video or some seminar or talk, let's send them. I say, I'm looking forward to our meeting or conversation tomorrow. I thought I'll share this with you. All these things build trust. I want you to write down a couple of things you're going to do right now. Today, after this session is over, what are a couple of things you're going to immediately act on? Right now, I want you to write it down. Immediately. What you're going to take immediate action on, so people love you even before they meet you. Write it down. 30 seconds. Whatever comes from your heart, write it down. And what is important is not to write it down, but to also look at it and take action. Great. I'm sure you would have written down some of these ideas, some of these strategies. And how do brands use it? If you understand it, the reason I share it is sometimes you might say, okay, Yogesh, but we might not be a big brand. Some of you might be, some of you might not be. But you need to understand it. So for example, why does a brand pay a celebrity, a cricketer or a movie star, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, whatever dollars to associate? And the reason is, if you look at a brand, I'll share an example with you, a case study, very powerful. So there was a car that was being launched in India, which nobody knew about. And this car was called the Hyundai Santro. And nobody knew about this company, Hyundai. And this company, when they wanted to come into India, that time there was a company called Suzuki, Maruti Suzuki, that was a leader. And Hyundai was a small, relatively small, at least in India. Nobody knew Hyundai. And what they did is, they tied up with Shah Rukh Khan as their brand ambassador, and they gave him a large amount of money, but that became the ingredient, because Shah Rukh became the ingredient of success for the car. Hyundai Santro became a huge success because of the right marketing. So when they tied up with Shah Rukh Khan, some of you might like Shah Rukh Khan, some of you might not like Shah Rukh Khan, that doesn't matter. What matters is the results. So the results, the reason people pay celebrities so much money is because of the results. And the result Shah Rukh Khan got for them, Santro became a household name. So people were able to connect with the car because he brought in all those emotions to the car. What did he do? When people saw Shah Rukh Khan, they thought, family guy, successful, happy, self-made. All those emotions got transferred, reliable, trustworthy. So his trust and reliability got transferred to this, assuming this is a car, got transferred to the car. and that's why people bought the Santro. So people made, and if you look at the car, if you look at the car today and you didn't have Shah Rukh Khan with it, it's not a very, very good looking car. Traditionally, if people would see it in the beginning, they thought it was, it was called a tall boy design. But most people, when they saw the car, they did these tests, they did not find the car very attractive. But Shah Rukh Khan made that car attractive because now families were involved, women were involved, they did the decision and they found it attractive. They made some nice ads and it became a success. Now, what am I trying to say? Am I trying to tell you hire Shah Rukh Khan or hire any of these actors? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Not everybody. If you're a big brand, probably you should. And most big brands do have brand ambassadors. What I'm trying to tell you is emotions get transferred. So if you associate with the right people, it's very important to be associated and seen with the right people. Anywhere they get transferred and people make assumptions or perceptions, because we live in a very fast world, right? We want to make quick decisions, quick associations. So if you're working in a company, let's say you're working in my company, you're somebody you're working, and I start seeing you with all the bad people. So I'm walking on the road or when I'm coming to the office, I see you hanging out with drunkards. I see you hanging out with criminals. What do I start associating about you? I say, okay, this guy, I should fire him, He's not hanging out with the right people. But if I start seeing you with the right people, I start seeing you hanging out with CEOs of companies. I start seeing you hanging out with heads of, corporations, heads of sales. I say, no, this guy is good. He's probably doing something right. And people start making associations. So who do people see you? So in the public domain, in the private domain, who do people see you with? If people see you with people who are successful, who are doing well, they will make associations about you. So always make sure, whether you're in private, whether you're in public, surround yourself with people who are successful in your field, in your domain. This is one of the most important things you could do. So if you associate yourself with people who are really good at what they do, and some of that also rubs out. If you're associating with people who are good, anytime there's a challenge, look at the difference in mindset. Anytime there's a challenge in the economy, look at the mindset difference. There are two types of people. One, who are always complaining, who are always grumbling, and most likely those people are not the successful ones. But if you associate with people who are successful, they will always find something positive. They'll tell you, what, this is a challenge, but we're going to get through it. So those qualities rub on you. Even if you see in school and college, certain types of students mixed together, and that's the thing. So always have the right associations. Whether you're a brand, associate with the right person. Whether you're an individual, whether you're a business, associate with the right person. So if you have good clients, maximize their impact. Spend more time with them. Get their photos, get their testimonials, and use it everywhere. So it's very important that you associate with the right type of people. I want you to write down very quickly a couple of people you can associate with who are going to drive you ahead, and a couple of people in your life or in your business who might not be the right influence. This is also very important, and restrict your time to them. Some of them might be close to you. Restrict your time. For example, me, I remember when I started business,